Oh, okay. All right, let's see if you guys get in here.
Here you are. Hopefully you can hear me. I don't want to have an echo, but let me see. You got booted out. Yeah, no, everybody got booted out and back in. Hopefully back in. Everybody should have been redirected over here, but we still have to wait because we don't have everybody over here yet. Liza, oh my gosh, I was looking for you to sell your stuff, and then I go to True Crime and then you're here. Oh, shoot. Jimmy? Oh. I just see that I gotta put this with the sold stuff. Can you please put this with the sold stuff over there, dear?
Sold stuff? I don't have these somewhere.
It's by the printer.
That?
Yeah, what's with the, I don't want to forget it, it's with the other sold stuff.
Okay, these all by where?
By the printer. Okay, so hi everybody. Echo? Okay, Julie. As Kevin would say, calm down, Julie, it's just an echo. Let me shut it off. Calm down. Okay, is it better now, Julie? Julie. Ouch, is it better? Is it better? Yes? Good. Great. Where is Kevin, speaking of what Kevin would say? All right, good, everybody. Hi, Flower Girl Phillips. Hi, everybody. All right, I'm dead. No, I don't feel tired anymore. My legs are just really sore because I don't know what I did tonight. Hey, Denise. Welcome. Haven't seen you in a long time. All right, let's see what's up here. So, alleged child killer appeared in court. Is accused of stabbing the little girl that you see there, who was outside in her yard playing hula hoop with her sister. A British man accused of killing a young girl was officially charged with murder during his first court appearance on Monday. Davidas Skabas, 22, is accused of killing 9-year-old Lilia Velutite. She's a Lincolnshire girl found dead in July in Boston, Lincolnshire. She had a single stab wound. Skabas appeared at the Lincoln Magistrates Court on Monday. He sat quietly as the charges of murder were read against him, and a judge ordered him to remain in jail without bail. Little Lilia, I think it's Lilia, was outside playing with her sister with a hula hoop when Skabas allegedly approached her about 6:15 p.m. Security footage showed what happened. The children's mother was reportedly nearby working when the attack took place off of Fountain Lane. I'm sure her mom Wouldn't have been far away, as she always checked on them. She was a very quiet girl, and I just can't understand it," said the neighbor. Her mother had a business inside. It was a cafe. She worked from a desk on her laptop. It's only a quiet street, so she would let them play outside. I think they had a hula hoop and dolls and a little carriage for the dolls. They were just playing. One was hiding, playing hide and seek, the older one, and she popped out, and the little one was looking for her. They were really happy. It's really sad," said another neighbor. "It's unclear if the suspect, who's from Lithuania, knew the victim, but her family is also reportedly from Lithuania. We believe this to be an isolated incident. We are pursuing extensive lines of inquiry and have committed a number of resources to this investigation," said the Chief Superintendent, Martin Park. Skabas's next court date is scheduled for September. Tragic story. This is so crazy. How many times has this happened? If you stab somebody in the neck because you got cold fries are the least of your problems. The mother of a 20-year-old man in custody for allegedly shooting a Brooklyn McDonald's employee and a spat over cold French fries blames the employee for the shooting and said the entire staff laughed when she asked for hot fries. Lisa Fillmore, 40, said she spoke to her son, who said he did what he had to do. And she said, "My son is just saying that he got to do what he got to do. And the victim came after him, and whatever happened, happened." Fillmore said she ordered food on the McDonald's app Monday night and was upset that her fries were cold, saying that rather than get her hot fries, an employee just put a few fresh fries on top and gave her the bag. When she complained again, the employee started laughing. When she demanded to see the manager, they said the boss had stepped out again and started laughing. And that is when I was on the phone with my son. I was like, they in this McDonald's playing with me. I was like, I got kids their age. I'm not going to sit here and keep arguing with these little kids. He was like, I'm coming down the block. And I was like, all right. And then I told him, no, don't come to McDonald's because I don't want you to get in trouble. Her son, who police say had 13 prior arrests, came anyway and told the staff to back off my mother. Then he challenged a 23-year-old man he is accused of shooting to come outside. Fillmore said the employee didn't go outside and she told her son to leave. About 15 or 20 minutes later, she said the male employee came out demanding to know where her son was. She said she told him he left. But the employee went outside. 10 minutes later, there was a gunshot. It looked like I seen a boy on the ground, and then I saw my son running the other way. I called 911, and then I sat there and I waited, she said. Asked if her son had a gun, Fillmore said she didn't know, and don't even know if my son shot the employee. Fillmore said the employee had something under the blue shirt he was wearing when he was shot. Police sources say the victim had no criminal record. There was no evidence that he was carrying a weapon. Fillmore, however, said there was no reason for him to go outside looking for somebody. Whatever happened outside, you caused that to happen. Wow, okay. They said that the son had a gun in his waistband when he arrived at the restaurant, went behind the counter and smashed property before getting into a shoving match with the employee and refusing to leave. Fillmore, the sources said, had gone outside the restaurant. The employee who had the initial confrontation with her over the fries went outside while the son was still inside and encountered Fillmore. He got into another argument with her over her son's conduct. While they were still arguing, sources say the son came outside and allegedly got into a fist fight with the employee. And just as that employee was gaining the upper hand in the fight, the son reportedly pulled out his gun and fired. Sources on Tuesday say the victim is in extremely critical condition, fighting for his life. Prayers he recovers fully. Co-workers, friends, and family waited outside the emergency room Tuesday afternoon. He's a good guy, a co-worker told the New York Post. Police said Tuesday that charges against Fulmore's son were pending. Wow. Cold fries. All right, so an 80-year-old California liquor store owner saw 3 masked gunmen jump out of an SUV that backed up alongside his Norco store early Sunday, so he was ready when one of them burst in and yelled for him to freeze. Surveillance footage from inside Craig Cope's store showed that he fired his own shotgun seconds after the gunman announced the robbery. Cope suffered a heart attack after the shooting and was taken to the hospital. He's now recovering at home in Riverside, says he will go back to work, although he said it's time to cut back on his hours. The 80-year-old said he figured this was going to happen when he saw 3 suspects get out of the SUV wearing masks and carrying guns. I just knew they were armed and masked and that they were coming in, so I was ready for them. I got a long gun pointing directly at me, Cope said. It was either him or me, and I was just a little bit faster. Police tracked the 4 men down to a hospital where one had a wound consistent with a shotgun blast from the Riverside County Sheriff's Department, said the Riverside County Sheriff's Department. Justin Johnson, 22, Jamar Williams and Devon Broadus, 24, Jamar is 27, are being held on $500,000 bail. The man who was shot is still hospitalized, which said the vehicle they were in was stolen and investigators recovered numerous weapons. Cope said that the would-be robbers didn't do their housework, coming into Norco, a largely conservative area with a high number of armed residents. Okay, the Kristen Smart trial is back on. Friends of Kristen Smart testified on Monday that the alleged murderer, Paul Flores, had a strange obsession with Kristen Smart before she vanished from the California Polytechnic State University in 1996. Now, Paul Flores attended the school with 19-year-old Kristen. He's accused of her murder. His father, Ruben, 81 years old, is facing charges of helping his son hide Kristen's body. Both suspects were arrested in 2021 after investigators did a search at Ruben Flores' home multiple times, and the investigators believe that Paul Flores killed Kristen at the college before hiding her body under Ruben's shed. Her remains have not been found. Now, a fellow student named Stephen Fleming testified Monday at the Montgomery County Superior Court that Paul Flores made other students feel weirded out by his strange behavior, and I quote him saying, "Everyone in the dorms, they were weirded out by Paul." Fleming recalled one particular incident in which Flores was standing just a few feet away inside the doorway of Kristen's room while Kristen, who looked uncomfortable, stood over her desk. He was between her and the only escape route, Fleming said. Another fellow student, Teschendorf Calvin, who was Kristen's roommate, also testified, adding that it was unlike Kristen to disappear for days without contact. The pair lived together in the dorm as roommates for about 3 months. The roommate said Kristen had never left without checking in during their time together. It had been 4 evenings, and she had never done anything like that while she lived with me, said her roommate. It was very out of character for her. Now, Kristen disappeared May 24th, 1996, after attending an off-campus party near Cal Poly. She called her parents that night around 8 p.m., left a voicemail, and it was the last time they had ever heard from her. Paul Flores told investigators that he went with Kristen back to the Muir dorm after the party where she lived, and he said that he left her there and he walked to his own dorm at the Santa Lucia Hall. Flores had a black eye while speaking to investigators at the time. 1 second, please. Okay. Flores had a black eye while speaking to investigators. Where did that go? He explained it happened after playing basketball. Yeah, okay. But authorities were skeptical of his story. Really? No kidding. He later changed his story, claimed he got the black eye while he was working on a truck, and eventually he stopped talking to investigators altogether and lawyered up. When investigators brought cadaver dogs to the campus, the dogs reportedly made their way to the room number 128 at the Santa Lucia dorm where Paul Flores lived. 2 dogs showed an interest in a mattress on the left-hand side of the room, and that was Flores' side of the room. According to the dog handler, Adela Morris, there was a strong possibility that a deceased body had been in that room. Additionally, women reportedly came forward afterwards and said Flores had essayed them. One of the women said she contacted the St. Louis Obispo Sheriff's Office and reported the incident, but Paul Flores was never convicted of any of those alleged assaults. Frustrated and desperate for answers, Kristen's parents filed a civil suit against Flores for taking the body of Kristen and secreting it or destroying it in a hidden place in the county of San Luis Obispo. Flores' family countersued the Smart family for emotional distress, and a judge later ruled that the Smart's lawsuit could not proceed. Ruben Flores, the father, was arrested in 2021 at his Arroyo Grande residence on a charge of accessory after the fact of a felony. Prosecutors allege that Kristen's body was once buried under Ruben Flores' deck, but her remains were recently moved. According to court documents, authorities are in possession of biological evidence that makes them believe that Kristen was buried underneath Ruben Flores' deck at one time. There is damning evidence that a body had been buried in that location and then recently moved. Prosecutors are adamant that Ruben Flores belongs behind bars, claiming that he helped his son cover up the murder. Ruben Flores' lawyer, Harold Messick, argued that the evidence against his client was so minimal as to shock the conscience. If convicted, Paul Flores faces 25 years to life in prison, while his father, if convicted, faces a maximum sentence of 3 years in prison if convicted. A 12-year-old girl in Alabama chewed through restraints that had kept her tied to bedposts for nearly a week, and she escaped from a man who is now charged with her kidnapping as well as the murder of 2 people whose bodies were found inside his home. Jose Polino Pascual Reyes, 37, was arrested in Auburn later on Monday, and he was brought back to Tallapoosa County, where he's awaiting a bond hearing. Tallapoosa County Sheriff Jimmy Abbott said that deputies were called to County Road 34 south of Dadeville at about 8:30 a.m. After a motorist found the girl walking down the road, she was taken to a hospital for medical help. According to the court documents, the girl told investigators she had been captive all week while kept drugged with alcohol and repeatedly assaulted. Wow. When deputies conducted a search of Reyes's home, they found 2 decomposing bodies. It wasn't clear how long the bodies had been there, and the remains were taken to the Alabama Department of Forensic Sciences for autopsies and identification. Deputies set out to find the suspect, identified as Jose Paulino Pascual Reyes, 37. He was located by U.S. Marshals and the Auburn Police Department in Auburn, about 25 miles from Dadeville. Brought back to the Tallapoosa County and awaits the bond hearing. He's now being charged with multiple counts of capital murder, 1 count of first-degree kidnapping. It's not known if there's a connection between the girl and Reyes. As for the 12-year-old little girl, Abbott called her a hero but declined to provide further information. It's a fluid investigation, the sheriff said. Things are changing. I don't want to jeopardize the case or the identification of our juvenile. I would say she's a hero. It's one of those things we won't get into until later. A 20-year-old man has been charged with intending to injure or alarm the Queen under the Treason Act following an incident on Christmas Day at Windsor Castle. Jaswant Singh Chahal was charged with an offense under Section 2 of the Treason Act 1842, last used more than 40 years ago, which is discharging or aiming firearms or throwing or using any offensive matter or weapon with intent to injure or alarm Her Majesty. Chahal of Southampton has also been charged with threats to kill, contrary to Section 16 of the Offenses Against the Person Act 1861. He's been charged with possession of an offensive weapon. He's being currently detained ahead of an appearance at Westminster Magistrates Court on August 17th. The Metropolitan Police said that Chahal had been charged following an investigation by its Counterterrorism Command in relation to an incident which took place within the grounds of Windsor Castle on Christmas Day last year. Nick Price, head of the Crown Prosecution Special Crime and Counterterrorism Division, said it had authorized the Met to charge Chahal after he was arrested in the grounds of Windsor Castle on December 25th, 2021, carrying a crossbow. The last time the act was used to prosecute a defendant was more than 40 years ago, when Marcus Sargent was also charged with trying to injure Elizabeth II. He fired 6 blank shots at the Queen as she rode down the Mall during Trooping the Colour in London in 1981. This section of the Treason Act 1842 is still in force and was introduced under Queen Victoria after 2 men fired at her in the space of 2 days that year. One man, John Francis, aimed at Victoria but did not fire as she was riding in a carriage along the Mall in central London. She went out again the next day to bait Francis to try again. He managed to get a shot off at the monarch but was arrested by a plainclothes policeman. Two days later, in a similar attack, John William Bean fired a pistol at the Queen, but it was loaded with paper and tobacco. Feeling the death penalty was too harsh, Prince Albert encouraged Parliament to pass a law fitting lesser crimes against the monarch, such as intent to alarm or wound. It created a new offense of the less serious than high treason of assaulting the Queen, or of having a firearm or offensive weapon in her presence with intent to injure or alarm her, or to cause a breach of the peace. Sargent was sentenced to 5 years in prison after pleading guilty to firing blank shots at Elizabeth II when she was on parade. New York police are searching for a 16-year-old girl who vanished in April and hasn't been heard or seen from by her loved ones and family. Elia Jennings was last seen April 4th in Dutchess County. She was last seen wearing a black sweatshirt and black pants. She's described as a black female, 5'3", 185 pounds, black hair, brown eyes, tattoo on her left forearm that reads LJ. Town of Poughkeepsie Police Department is investigating the missing persons case. She's 16 and has been missing since April. If you know anything, call Detective Barnhart, 845-485-3688. Where she's found. A Florida dentist was arrested last week for the 4th time to face charges that he inappropriately touched female patients. Charles Stamatolis, 65, has been allowed to continue his Pensacola practice, but he was ordered after his last arrest in June to see only male patients. Hi, are you female? You have a toothache? You can't come in. The dentist is only allowed to see male patients. The latest arrest on Friday charges Stamatolis with misdemeanor battery for allegedly kissing a woman on the forehead, grabbing her breasts, and trying to guide her hand to his groin. The woman said that she saw the dentist from August of 2020 to March of 2022 and had extensive dental work done. She told investigators that she didn't initially report him because she was paying him $2,000 per month for her treatment. Stamatolis was released on a $25,000 bond soon after his arrest and ordered back to court on the charge of August 18th. 17 battery reports are against Stamatolis. They've been filed since May when he was first arrested for another misdemeanor battery charge. He was released on $5,000 bond after that arrest on May 27th. On June 2nd, he was arrested on 2 more misdemeanor battery charges and released on $40,000 bond. And then on June 17th, he was arrested on a felony battery charge for allegedly inappropriately touching a 74-year-old woman. He was released on $20,000 bond in that case, but it was after that arrest that the Florida Department of Health issued a 13-page order telling him to stop treating female patients. Cut it out. The June 23rd order detailed disciplinary actions taken against Stamatolis since 1990 and accusations of sexual misconduct since 2003, including at least one in which the plaintiff was awarded damages. The order also reported on an order of protection against stalking issued against Stamatolis in June. While the Department of Health found that Stamatolis lacks the good moral character and judgment necessary to practice dentistry, and that his long history of escalating behavior constitutes an immediate danger to the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of the state of Florida, the agency allowed him to keep his license and restricted his practice to male patients. Yeah. Just see male patients, buddy. The youngest victim of the July 4th shooting in Highland Park, Illinois, has been released from intensive care and moved to a rehabilitation facility. Cooper Roberts, 8 years old, has also been reunited with his dog, George. The bullet that ripped through Cooper's body severed his spinal column and damaged his liver, abdominal aorta, and esophagus. He is paralyzed from the waist down. Cooper's twin, Luke, was also wounded in the shooting, hit by shrapnel in his leg. The boy's mother, Keely Roberts, suffered leg and foot wounds. Keely Roberts made her first public comments last week since the shooting, thanking members of the community who jumped in to aid the family. I want to thank the people who were there to help us in the immediate aftermath of this tragedy as we were sitting shocked and scared and bleeding on the sidewalk at a parade in our hometown. When we were shot, it wasn't the police or firemen who got to us first. It was community members, an off-duty doctor and nurses, other parade goers who raced to our sides. In an accompanying video, she said Cooper would not be alive today if it were not for the act of these people who just risked everything to ensure this little boy lived. Robert E. Bobby Crimo III has been charged in the shooting, which killed 7 people and wounded dozens. He has been indicted on 117 counts. Cooper's family announced his move to Shirley Ryan Ability Lab in a GoFundMe post on Monday, aiding that seeing George for the first time since the shooting was a happy reunion for them both. The family said the team at the Ability Lab would be conducting a thorough assessment to determine what services are needed to support Cooper's continued recovery. Harris County Sheriff's Office deputies in Texas are asking the public to be on the lookout for a missing 15-year-old girl, Lydia Bird, last seen Saturday in Oak Landing subdivision in northwest Harris County off of Tryon Drive. Police reported the teenager could possibly be with a man in the Killeen area. Police also said Lydia may have dyed her hair to blonde to alter her appearance. Anyone with information should call the Harris County Sheriff's Office Missing Persons Unit 713-755-7427. Two adults and a 6-year-old girl were wounded on Sunday when gunfire erupted during a Pop Warner football game in Oakland, California. Oakland Police Chief LaRon Armstrong said Monday that the other victims were a woman in her 50s and a man in his 30s. None of the victims had life-threatening injuries. Armstrong said the gunfire appears to have stemmed from a dispute in the stands where about 500 people were attending the game between the Oakland Dynamites and a team from Fresno. The chief said the department was saddened by the blatant disregard for life that occurred yesterday as individuals showed a complete lack of compassion for young people out there participating in the Pee Wee football game. The Dynamites sent a message to the community apologizing for the violence and blaming the city of Oakland. As staff at OD, we try to create a fun, festive environment for our children to play football and cheer, the adults in charge of the team wrote. We can't control these knuckleheads, but we can improve and try to take better security measures at the field. Unfortunately, there was some street beef that spilled onto the football field. This is not a Dynamite problem. This is an Oakland problem. The team had a very productive meeting with Armstrong and parents on Monday night and announced new security measures to be put in place with the help of the police department. Armstrong noted that a fatal shooting took place in 2021 in front of the team as they were practicing. A suspect was arrested in that case. These young people have no business witnessing this level of violence back-to-back years by adults, Armstrong said. The chief said investigators believe there were multiple shooters on Sunday. A 16-year-old Michigan boy has been charged as an adult for the murder of a 13-year-old boy over a cell phone. Detroit Police Chief James White said the cell phone in question may have been stolen several weeks earlier. It's not clear if it was actually stolen. And on July 26th, Ryan McLeod drove to the 13-year-old's home where several children were outside. This all started from a cell phone that was perhaps stolen in a car full of young people who decided they would go to this location. They saw the victim, 13 years old, out front. Someone in the vehicle, we believe it to be the driver, fired a shot, struck the victim, and senselessly he was murdered on the street in the middle of the day in the summer over a cell phone. Police found the 13-year-old victim identified as Joe Nankervis with a gunshot wound into the back. He was rushed to a hospital where he was pronounced dead. McLeod has been charged with first-degree premeditated murder, felonious assault, and 2 felony firearm violations. I've got a 16-year-old whose life is over because he pulled a trigger to settle a dispute over an iPhone. An iPhone, White said. His life is over, and a 13-year-old won't get a chance to work in ceasefire, won't get a chance to be the police chief, the city council president, whose life is over. Police say 3 other people from McLeod's car were taken into custody in connection with the shooting. 2 of those people were minors, and the third had just turned 18. It's not clear what charges they're facing. McLeod was arraigned on Monday and remanded to a group home. Probable cause hearing is scheduled for August 15th, with a preliminary hearing a week later. Okay, there you guys are. Hey, Cranky Babushka. Hi, everybody who's come in. Hi, Robbity Bob. Whisper to me, video reel. Charlotte Barrows, the guy who owns the store is going to close the store. The liquor store? Are you in the area, Charlotte? Welcome, welcome. It's nice to have you here, Liza. You're watching the other trial, Denise, Michael, on the Fabian Gonzalez trial. Not sure, but did you hear the dentist that was convicted of murdering his wife while on that safari? Hi, Sean Sneed. Cole G. Can we get the likes up, please? Please. I'm glad you caught the live too, Cranky Babushka. I think that's about it. Let me see. Oh my goodness, why am I... well, I wrote a lot today. And I had a whole bunch of paperwork to do before that, so... Oh, goodness. Gotta take all my vitamins and all that really fun stuff. Let me check if there's any updates on the Shannon Mambro. Oh, goodness. I'm sorry. I really am. I don't like to yawn on camera because it makes me nuts. Let me see if there's any updates about that husband. Okay, it says that there's a public memorial service to celebrate the life of Shanna DiMambro. Her family will be traveling for the memorial and would like to wrap our arms around as a community around the DiMambro family. During the memorial service, we'll celebrate and remember Shanna's life, support her family, and give a big thank you to all the volunteers who stepped up to help in the search for Shanna. And a reception will follow the memorial. And that's Wednesday, August 17th at 3 p.m., Spring Branch, Texas. And then someone else in the group said there's so much speculation on about what happened to Shanna. We all have our own theories. I've certainly got my opinions. What I want to say, though, is that I'm very impressed about how the sheriff's office processed the crime scene. They were thorough in taking lots of pictures up close and far away. They asked each of us separately for our statements, and they put flags all over to mark the direction of the elevation. I do have a lot of faith and confidence that they will investigate this case to the very end. With all of you, I eagerly await the results of their investigation. Today I am praying for God's hand and healing and blessing over the DiMambro family. Yes, amen. Okay, let's see here. All right. Let's see if there's any Dre McCrae news. I doubt it, but we'll see. Who wants them? I don't know, there's somebody here. So they have another person. Have you heard of a person named MB on TikTok? I'm over that one. Yeah, I don't see much real stuff on Dre McCrae at all. Okay, that's done. I'll have to look it up. It's hard for me to explain the dynamics. What is it? Oh, I don't know if I can get into that. Like, it's a lot. It sounds like a lot. I'm just so sleepy. Nobody heard of that? Okay. I have to get a drink on. The number, we're still using the same Zoom. If anyone wants to come on, the number is Fabian Gonzalez. I don't know. You got to go, Babushka. You only popped in for a little bit. You're going to love us and leave us? All right, love us and leave us then, Fabian. I'm Fabian. Oh my gosh, cranky. You don't do TikTok either, Sharon? I'll check it out later. I'm just like, so I just can't take anymore right now. You don't understand. I just don't get the true crime on TikTok. I really don't, because all I've seen is like scam stuff. Okay, but anyways, I think, guys, I'm going to open up the Zoom and then I'm going to go to bed. So if you want to come in the Zoom and talk amongst yourselves, because this girl's going to go in the massage chair for a little bit, take her vitamins and go in the massage chair, and this girl's going to bed early. So if you want to do the Zoom, you can stay in the Zoom, but you got to come in because this girl's tired. And it's the same Zoom link from last night, everybody. The Zoom has been going and going and going. Good night, Nicole. I'll give you like 5 minutes and then I will shut the Zoom down if you don't want to come in the Zoom. Because I am exhausted. Enjoy my rest? Oh, I can go my rest? Okay, good. I'll go with my rest. All right, everybody. Everybody take care. You couldn't get in. Is this a craft fair? Is what a craft fair? We just did true crime healing room. Teresa from the healing room, what's a craft fair? You're not making sense. You're not making sense, healing room, at all. You're not making sense. Da, 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 da.
Hey.
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 Hi.
Hi.
Maybe we should try to watch a movie tonight.
Yeah, let's watch a movie tonight.
All right.
Name one. Tell.
I'll look for something. Okay. Goodbye, everybody. Members and Patreons, if you want to, come on in.
I've been watching the old Lost. Remember Lost? Came
Yeah,
out
I
in
do.
about
I didn't watch it,
2004.
though. I never watched
Oh,
it.
yeah.
The plane crash on the island. It's pretty good. I've been watching
I'll
that.
see you guys tomorrow. Thank you.
I remember that.